Hey, good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. So, really, it's a mic behind the mic. Well, Mike's plural. Mike, me, behind the mics, this one and this one. People say, Avery, why do you have two microphones in front of you? One, this one, is my social media microphone, which you are hearing on the live stream right now. And the other one, which you don't hear, is my professional broadcast microphone. They're actually both professional mics. Nothing but the best for you, my friends. Hey, Craig, good morning, buddy. How are you? Craig, that conversation we had, I'm hoping you can pull it off. Ed, you broke my heart this morning, buddy. Hey, Jim, would you like to join us for a hunt in Ohio? We have a last-minute opening. It's for the 15th through the 20th. Now, this is not a free hunt, my friends. It is a hunt you'll have to pay for. But I'll throw the option out right now. We have a last-minute opening for our Ohio hunt with Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters. If you want details, let me know. Anyway, Ed, good morning. How you doing, buddy? Dan, good morning. How are you? Cliff, nice to see you along with us. Gene, how are things at the Apex plant? Bruce, good morning. Hey, Brent, nice to have you along with us as well. Jim checking in from Hersey. Jerry, good morning. This is a hunt with Bill Piles, Randy of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters. It is the 10th through the 15th through the 20th in Big Buck Country in Ohio. And we have a last-minute opening. Contact me, contact me if you would like the details on that. Mike, I made it through open heart surgery. Might even be able to hunt this season. Good. I'm so glad to hear that. Mike Martin, good morning. How are you? Johnny Bowler. Did your guy miss two bears, or did he have two bears come out? Hey, Justin, good morning, buddy. How are things over at MUCC, MUCC.org? Nick Green of MUCC will be joining us on the Outdoor Magazine radio show this week. So bow season starts Sunday. You know, here in Michigan, actually, in my mind, I was thinking it was Monday. I was thinking Monday was the first, but Sunday is the first. I talked to my grandson, Trent. He said, Grandpa, are you going to hunt the opener? I said, I don't know yet. Well, that's when I thought it was Monday. Since it's Sunday morning, I will be in church, and Sunday night I will be out there in the woods with my grandson, Trent. Looking forward to that. Good morning, Jeff. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Swing and a miss on a second one. Did you 332 dressed? Justin, did you send me a picture of that? If so, I don't remember it. Please send it. Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I would love to see that, and I'd love to post that as well. 332-pound dressed deer, dressed bear. Nice, nice, nice. So we're getting ready to go into the month of October, arguably the best month of the year. I have not pulled the Angler Quest yet. Good morning, Corey. Corey, I'll throw the option out to you as well. We got a last-minute opening on that Ohio hunt you were looking at. I know it's not really the style that you want to hunt because you're more of a guy who wants to hunt on his own. I get that, but we do have a last-minute opening if you are interested. Ed, good morning. How are you? Thanks for joining me on this edition of Behind the Mic. Ron, good morning. How are you? You got a lease in Missouri. God bless you for that. I bet you'll be going to Missouri. You are more than welcome, Corey. We're just trying to find somebody to fill this at the last minute. Amen to that, brother. It's always a beautiful, any day you can wake up and you're upright and not horizontal, it's a good day. Good morning, Randy. How are you? My name is Mike Avery. This is Behind the Mic here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. I'll tell you who's coming up on this week's show in just a couple of minutes. First, I mentioned the Ohio hunt, the last-minute opening. If you're still looking for broadheads, or if you know what broadheads you like and they happen to be rec broadheads, Avery 15 is your promo. Avery 15 is your promo. Ed says, my brother had the new string break while shooting his Raven 29. My dad was actually shooting it, made his ears ring. Tell me more about that, Ed. You say new string. New string. What does that mean? Because I just put a new string on mine. And shot it, and it was indeed off a little bit. Morning, Charles. Morning, Dave. How you doing, buddy? New string. What is a new string? Is that a new string on a new bow, or is that a new string? You know, I love crossbows, but they scare the hell out of me. Honestly, as many times as I have sat behind a crossbow, they always make me nervous. To have that much energy stored 18 inches in front of your face makes me nervous. Brand new string, maybe 10 shots, and pow. They scare me, and I like them, and I've hunted with them a lot, but they scare me. I shouldn't say they scare me. They make me nervous, and I have a healthy respect for them. Again, to have that much energy stored 18 inches in front of your face. Hey, good morning, Jared. How are you? Oh, there you go, Jared. Ed says he had a string break on his Raven last year. Scared me beyond words. Got it checked out this year. Beautiful morning in Kansas. Chris, how you doing, buddy? Jim, good morning. How are you? Yeah, they... you don't have to worry about your recurve blowing up in your face, do you? And actually, hunting with a recurve is the most fun I've ever had. Scott says compounds can do the same thing. They can. You know what? You're right. Compounds can do the same thing. The thing about compounds is you got a cam up here, you got a cam down here, and I just don't feel like there's, well, and the thing about a compound is, well, there's energy stored there too, isn't there? Yeah. Ever heard of a skunk having brainworm? No. Ed says best $200 outdoor guru. Andy, you're stretching it there. You're stretching it there, but I'm doing good. How are you doing, buddy? Okay, I did not put the boat away yet. I should have. SVRC Marketplace. Remind me what that is, Joe. I have not put the boat away yet, and I should, right? I'm not using it at this point. I know I'm not. I know I'm not going to. So why have I not put it away? Because it's just one more thing I have to add to my list now. And in 2 weeks, I'm heading down to Ohio. So I just should have gotten busy and pulled the darn thing when I thought about it a month ago. But I thought about it a month ago and thought, well, maybe. I know, Scott, but I'm not going to use it at this point. I know I'm not. I'm not going to use it. I'm done. Don't put the boat away. The water gets cooler, fishing gets better. I know it does. And every year I tell myself I'm going to keep the boat in the water and I'm going to fish in the fall, and I never do. But I was thinking about it. Even if I get jonesing to go fishing, I got buddies who have Angler Quest who I can go out with. Robert, good morning. Oh, Andy said he did have a recurve pop at string once. It came off, nailed my wrist, but good below the arm guard, broke some blood vessels in the wrist, swelled up like cocoa bologna. Everything has its dangers. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Freeway Sports. Are these the 2023? Well, if they're going to Freeway, they're the 2023 models. Yep. Have a nice drive down there. Joe, good morning. How are you? We're in the old Saginaw News building. 30 vendors. Love to see you visit. The old Saginaw News. Back when there were newspapers, eh? I do have to try purchase. Jim, I started to ask you this question. Are you interested in going to Ohio on a bow hunt with Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters the 15th through the 20th of October? We got a last-minute opening. I'd love to have you, Jim. Cap. Mike says, we're men. We put it off till the last minute, then rush to put it away. Yeah. Brent says his brother-in-law's Raven 500 blew up in the stand while hunting an antelope. Limbs exploded. No injuries. Raven already rebuilt. A lot of stories. Hey, and it was nice to see you guys, Brent, the other night. You snuck out on me. I was going to come over and say hi. I didn't want to bug you at first, and I was going to come over a little bit later, and then I looked and you were gone. But anyway, it was nice to see you guys. Oh, Mike says, don't forget not to wear your crossbow cocking string around your neck. It can cause a really bad neck rash when it gets caught in the crossbow. Good point. Jeff, I need more weekends. Between fishing and hunting, this work thing seems to get in the way. It's a vicious cycle. And then I hear from guys who retire, they say, I don't know how I ever had time to work. Morning, ML. How you doing, buddy? Remind me, ML, you in Louisiana, right? Fall makes the fishing window so small, not worth it. Put it away. I'm with you, Scott. I'm not going to fish. And if I do, I'll go out with Scott Hand. I'm not going to get the angler. I just need to pull it, and I haven't yet. Biggest problem with crossbows is keeping your thumb away. That's not a problem with mine. 2023s, they bought our Angler Quest that we have left. That's what I heard. They bought, that's telling you something, isn't it? Freeway bought all the 2023 Angler Quest Pro Trolls that were left. Andy says, leave it in the water. I'll run your boat. Somebody needs to. All right, Jim, I got you. It's late notice. I get it. It's late notice. I hate to see Bill eat that spot. And we're trying to fill it. I just don't know if we're going to be able to. Oh, I didn't know. Moved outside. I didn't even know they were seating outside, Brent. Boston. Scott, I was thinking about you the other day. First of all, how did your elk hunt go? Since I didn't see a picture, I'm thinking you didn't get an animal, but how did the hunt go? What are you doing in Boston? And the third thing is, I was just talking about you. I should have put the Angler Quest away a month ago. I didn't. Now I have to scramble to get it put away now. I know I'm not going to fish this fall, but I also know, or I think I know, that if I do want to go fishing this fall, I have an open invitation with you, Scott Hand, on your Angler Quest. Scott says the winds are blowing all the time. Choices, just saying. Jason checking in from the Ford Dearborn truck plant. So you guys are still working, Jason. Has it slowed down yet? Kevin, good morning. Flinging a few arrows with a dart and crossbow later today, switching from mechanical tips to fixed blades. What are you switching to, Kevin? If you want to use rec broadheads, use the promo code Avery15 to get 15% off. Craig says Freeway treated him great because Craig just bought a 20, I think it's a 23. The 2023s are going to be in big demand. In fact, they're going to be hard to get. So you did well by scoring one, Craig. And Jim at Freeway is a good guy. All right, Johnny, see you later, buddy. Corey says he's got 350-inch deer on camera, 4 days of putting out his cameras in Missouri. God, have fun. Make it a jigging barge. And Andrew, I'm not supposed to talk about this, but you already know it, I'm sure. But there are fish in the river right now because I just got a really, really good report the other day. Jeff Kittles, good morning, Mike. Hope all is well. I'm going to hide that just because I don't want to cover my face. We're here at Northern Lights Bear Service, are up to 9 bear harvested so far this year. Still have a couple of guys left. Lots of bear. Bear are moving. Excellent. Scott, open invitation. No elk. One of the guys got a nice 6x6. Andrew's also a very good salesman. I don't know Andrew. Morning, Michael. How are you? Thanks for joining me on this edition of Behind the Mic. Anyway, I'm here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio to record this week's Outdoor Magazine. I got to pull up this picture here. Downloading. From Justin, he just sent me a picture of his bear. Nah, it doesn't want to download. I'll look at it later, Justin, and I will post. Okay, here's who's coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show, which is why I'm in the studio, here to record this week's show. The snipe hunt is in full swing. You've got to get out there at the right time, though, and you've got to wear the right camo and use the right gear. First bear, a big one, nice. Okay, Steve Hearing is my first guest on the radio show this week. Steve is with a group called Benefit for Kids, and their whole purpose is to take kids who are in trouble medically, physically, out on the hunt of a lifetime. I never leave my thumbs up on my crossbow. Oh my gosh. My job is to get intel. You have not been on your angler quest since the tournament. The ribs were too bad to try it out. I haven't been on my angler quest since August 8th, Scott. I'm not too far behind you. Then Scott Safransky, speaking of Angler Quest, then Scott Safransky of Linwood Beach talks about the fishing out in the bay right now and also the process of putting your boat, whether it's an Angler Quest away, Angler Quest or not, away for the winter. Doug, mounting his new... I didn't know you had a Warrior, Doug. I thought you were just an Angler Quest guy. You have a great week as well. And Doug, we were just talking about the changes going on at Angler Quest right now. And then the end of the first hour, Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News. In our second hour, Mike Stewart, an audiologist, talks about the dangers of shooting and hearing loss. I'll tell you this, my friends. I pulled the trigger on hearing aids. By the time I come in here next week with Charlie, I should have hearing aids in my ears. Now, this is what's the word I'm thinking for? This is an admission of old age, right? And I fought it, and I fought it, and I fought it. But when the weekend that my daughter got married, and I had all kinds of people around, and realized I had no idea what people were hearing saying in a crowded room with lots of background noise, I said, I got to do it. So I did. Jim says you only leave your thumb up once. You either lose it, see a surgeon, but you don't do it again. Then Nick Green of MUCC joins me, and this week's Ask Avery question, what about people who post no trespassing signs in areas that they shouldn't? You bought a 238 Warrior this spring. Going to have to go back and watch the beginning of the changes happening. I didn't talk about the changes, Doug, but you know about the changes. According to my dad and brother, get good ones that have Bluetooth for your phone. These are top end, and they're not cheap. That's why one of the reasons I didn't want to get them. They're so darn expensive. I will not be out Sunday morning, Brian. I will be in church Sunday morning, but I will be out Sunday night with my grandson, Trent. And then in the third hour, Jerry Widener of the Hunter Safety System. Jerry and the Hunter Safety System is the company that made tree stand safety cool, or at least took the uncoolness out of wearing a full-body harness while you're in a tree stand. Robert says we got a nice-sized bear cruising our neighborhood up here, the former Wixom Lake. Trail cameras are great. They are great. Our trail cameras are out, but we're not seeing anything. Listen, on our lease property, my goal is to shoot a big doe. Charlie, I sent you in October recording schedule too. If we can, I need to double up the week of the 9th.
I believe we can probably make that work.
Just to accommodate the Ohio deer hunt. You as well, Scott. Thanks, appreciate that. Dave said he just had his hearing tested, all good. Apparently, he just had the ability to tune people out really well. Well, my hearing, because of, and Art's an old guy. Art Lewis is an old guy. He can relate to this. Art, I just pulled the trigger on hearing aids. I'm going to get hearing aids. Come in here. See?
What'd you say?
What? See, he's an old guy, too. Let me look behind your ears.
No, I don't have
any. You don't have them?
Nope.
How are you as old as you are and don't have hearing aids?
I mean, I wore headphones all my life. Lucky, I guess.
Mike says, with microphones and muffs, it's stupid not to wear them, even while hunting, in his opinion. His son never shot a deer without them on. Well, and Tittabawassee needs some water right now. Is it low, is it? What happened with me was, it was shooting without hearing protection. And I can tell you one situation specifically. The first time I ever had a chance to shoot a 45, and I'd always wanted to shoot a 45, never had one in my hands. My buddy, who was a federal agent, he was issued a 45, and he had a whole bunch of ammo, and we were out grouse hunting, and he had it on his hip, and he says, he saw me looking at it. He said, "You want to shoot it?" And I said, yeah, I want to shoot it. And I shot it, and I shot it, and I shot it with no hearing protection. And on the drive home, I knew something was wrong because my hearing was gone. My ears were ringing, and I knew I'd done some damage. So I think that's the thing that put me over the top. Any reports from Ontario? Aren't you usually there? I'm sometimes there. No reports from Ontario. No, nothing. 25 years in the shop, you could probably use them. Jason says, yes, we're still working full speed, praying for a contract soon. Yeah, I hope so as well, Jason. Well, see, here's the other thing. Craig says, my hearing loss is shooting and loud rock and roll. Might have been worth it. Well, I think in my case it was. I remember, speaking of loud rock and roll, being so stupid, and this is all it is just plain stupidity. When I was a kid at a concert, going up to a speaker tower, and why would it do this? Why would you do this other than being young and dumb? I walked up to the speaker and I put my ear up to it. Why would you do that? I'm paying for it now. Mike says he has hearing loss. His Lisa's wife thinks so. The musk we used up until the 90s didn't do much of it. Brandon Pickens says Lake St. Clair perch fishing is still hot along South Channel, Stony Point, Bell River Hump, 16 to 13 feet of water.
2 minutes.
2 minutes? So anyway, I fought the whole hearing aid thing, and I fought it, and I fought it, and I fought it, and I didn't want them. They're too expensive, and I just didn't want to admit that I needed them. But like I said, the weekend that my daughter got married and I couldn't hear people, Brent said he did the same thing. He stood next to the towers at concerts. You're young and dumb. I did the same thing. But the weekend my daughter got married and I realized that I had no idea what people were saying to me in a crowded room. I mean, I knew I had a problem, but that weekend put me over the top. Eli said he shot his .308 in the blind without hearing protection. Lesson learned. Jim said he shot a snubby, 44 snubby, 5 times, no hearing protection. My ears rang for 3 days. Yeah, when I was shooting my buddy's 45, 44 snubby. Yeah, that would be loud. And I don't want them. I don't want them, but I gotta have them. Hey, Joe. Good morning, buddy. How you doing, Pastor? Favorite rock band? Well, Leonard Skinner, Pink Floyd, and these days Laith El-Sadi. Hey, good morning, Joe. How you doing, buddy? You ready for us, Joe? I was going to say I bet you're not hunting Sunday morning, but I actually bet you are. You're going to sneak out Sunday morning before your church service, then you're going back out, aren't you? Tim says a 30-06 in a blind. Joe said he got tinnitus or tinnitus from shooting a doe a couple of years ago. Don't mess around with out here. I screwed myself up.
15 seconds.
And now I got to do the old man thing and wear hearing aids. And
10 seconds.
Hey, Jen, good morning. How are you? All right, my friends, I got to switch focus. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. Just looking at a text from a buddy of mine. He asked if I pulled the boat. No, I didn't pull the boat. Should have. I'm not going to use it now. I think great. Craig wants to name his Angler Quest the Great Gig in the Sky. Michelle, that is the Great Gig. Yes, Michelle, please let him name it that. Steve, good morning. How you doing, buddy? All right, my friends, I'm going to be here for another 12 minutes, but I got to change my focus from this to this, right? So feel free to stick around, and I'll see you tonight, 7 o'clock, for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations across the great state of Michigan. And so glad to have you along with us. I'm always glad to have you along with us, right? I sit here every week for 3 hours, and every week I say thanks for joining me. And I mean it, because I couldn't do this without you. And this weekend is kind of an exciting weekend, isn't it? Because Sunday is October 1st. What does October 1st mean? It means the month of Rocktober is kicking off. Why do I call it Rocktober? Because I feel like in some ways, in many ways, it's the best month of the year. Now, I like June. I like July because I like my walleye fishing. But there's something about the month of Rocktober that is, I don't want to, there's a word I want to use, but I won't because it's too strong. But it's a good month, isn't it? Bow season starts Sunday. Will you be out? It's going to be a little warm yet, I think. Looking at the forecast, still a little bit warm. But there's something about being out there on opening day. Now, I realize that opening day of deer season is not what opening day of deer season here in Michigan used to be. Opening day of deer season used to be November 15th, and that was it. That was the opener. We didn't have these early seasons. We didn't have the youth hunt. We didn't have the independence hunt. We didn't have the early doe season. We did have a bow season, but nobody hunted it when I was a kid. So November 15th was the deer season opener. These days, the opener has been kind of diluted, right? Because we have all these other seasons and we have bow season. I will be out there. You know, here's... I was thinking that the opener, I was thinking October 1st was Monday. So when my grandson Trent says, "Hey, Grandpa, you going to hunt the opener?" I'm like, I gotta think about it, Trent. I don't know. And then dummy me looked at a calendar and realized that Sunday was October 1st. I got back in touch with Trent. I said, "Trent, I can't hunt Sunday morning because I'll be in church. But yes, Sunday night I can go. Let's go." So Sunday night I will be out there with my grandson Trent. Now, listen, he's 21 years old. We're not sitting in the same stand. I'm not sitting over his shoulder. I don't even know where he's going to be on the property yet. But yes, I will be out there Sunday evening enjoying this celebration of our hunting heritage. I will be out there with a crossbow. I know, the devil's tool. The poacher's tool, the lazy man's tool. Well, if you think that, you're a tool, in my humble opinion. Well, not so humble, actually. Listen, I have some very strong thoughts on this because I have bow hunted with just about every tool you can use for bow hunting, I guess other than a slingshot or a spear, and I don't even know if those are legal. I think whatever tool keeps you in the outdoors or out in the woods, great. Embrace it. My most rewarding hunts have been with a recurve. I love hunting with a recurve. It is pure. It is basic. It is instinctive. It is beautiful. But man, you got to be dedicated to it. You have to be willing to put in your time to practice. I mean, a lot of time. And I don't want to say I don't have the time to do that, because if I really wanted to, I could make the time. But I'm not willing to put the time into it anymore to be proficient enough to have the confidence of having that in my hand when I go out in the woods in pursuit of game. And I think that all hunters want to be proficient and have that confidence. So a couple of years ago, when I realized at the end of the season when a doe walked in front of me and I didn't really know if I should shoot her or not, okay, Avery, it's time to put the recurve down. Now, I could have gone back to a compound. I hunted with a compound for many years. But I went right back to the crossbow. I've hunted with a crossbow a lot. I like crossbows. Is it easier to be accurate and proficient with a crossbow than it is with a recurve or a longbow? Of course it is. Is it easier to be proficient with a crossbow than it is a compound? Of course it is. Do you have an advantage with a crossbow over a compound? Of course you do. Not because your distance is longer, not because you can make an accurate shot longer, because I don't believe ethically you can make a longer shot with a crossbow than you can with a compound. But with a crossbow, the thing is cocked, right? You've got it in your hands and it is ready to shoot. So you don't have the activity of drawing the bow like you do with a recurve or a crossbow. So I like them. What I don't like is people who gripe about other hunters who decide to use a crossbow. What does it matter to you if I use a crossbow? What does it matter to you if anybody uses a crossbow? Well, you're taking the easy way out. It's a lazy man's way. It's a poacher's tool. It's not a poacher's tool. If I was going to go out and intentionally shoot a buck after dark like poachers do, I'd probably use a 22 mag. But that's just me, right? If I was a poacher, I wouldn't take a crossbow. Crossbows allow people to be more proficient and more accurate. Isn't that what we want our hunters to be, proficient and accurate? If you are going to let an arrow fly, don't you want to know that you have a reasonable chance of making a quick, clean, humane killing shot? And if a crossbow allows people to do that, or if a crossbow allows people to have a sore shoulder to be out there, or a crossbow allows people to be older who are out there, but you know what? I don't care if you're 25 years old and you decide you want to use a crossbow. Have at it. If that is the tool you are comfortable with, if that is the tool that will allow you to be a better hunter, have at it. And it's nobody's business that that's what you've chosen to use. Drives me crazy. Drives me crazy. And because I posted a picture the other day while I was sighting my crossbow in, and I got some of those comments. Oh, why don't you just pick up a gun? Really? Are you that dumb that you think a crossbow and a gun are the same type of tool? Well, Fred Bear never would have used a crossbow. Fred Bear didn't like crossbows. Do you know that for a fact? Do you know that Fred Bear didn't like crossbows? Did you talk to Fred? Did you ask him this? Because guess what? I did. The first time I ever saw a crossbow was at Grouse Haven in the mid-'80s with Fred Bear. Now, Fred was not shooting a crossbow, but his people were there. They had crossbows on the range, and they were looking at him, and they were experimenting with him, and they were talking about him, and Fred Bear was looking over their shoulders, going, now, this is an interesting tool. So don't tell me Fred Bear was against crossbows, because I know for a fact he was not. Whatever gets you out there, my friends. And I'll be out there. I will be out there. Am I as intense as I used to be? Absolutely not. But I will be out there celebrating the activity of deer hunting in Michigan because it's gone on for generations, and I want to continue that activity, that passion, that pursuit, and that tradition with whatever legal tool allows me to do that. Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show after the break, Steve Hearing talking about a group called Benefit for Kids. Now, this is a group that their goal is to get kids in the outdoors and enjoy hunting and fishing. Then Scott Safransky of Linwood Beach Marina talks about the process of putting your boat away. My Angler Quest is still sitting there in the slip. I should have put it away a month ago because I knew I wasn't going to be out there. Now I've got to figure out how to take care of it. Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News talks about the big outdoor weekend. Then Mike Stewart, an audiologist, talks about shooting and hearing loss. I am sad to say that I have finally had to pull the trigger on hearing aids because of being young, being stupid when I was younger. Nick Green of MUCC, this week's Ask Avery segment. In our third hour, Jerry Widener, one of the guys behind the Hunter Safety System. These are the guys who made tree stand safety cool. And, of course, we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire, Dixie Dave Miner. My name is Mike Avery. My website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I'd love to hear from you. Don't hesitate to reach out. Glad you're with us this week right here on Outdoor Magazine. All right, my friends. Brent, I'm going to send you a text. I'm going to respond to your text. Justin, thank you for helping me out with hearing aids. Now, I didn't get them from you, obviously. You know that, but you're the guy who really got me thinking this direction, and you're the guy who allowed me the opportunity to check them out. So, Justin, I appreciate that. All right, my friends, have a great day. I will be back tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live, and hopefully you can join me then. In the meantime, have a great day.